It's the day many Bears fans have been waiting for. It's draft day. Today's the day that we're going to know who the Chicago Bears are going to draft at number 1 and number 9. If they hold on to the number 9 overall pick, we'll see what happens with that. And Caleb Williams has made his now opinion known on who he'd like to see the Chicago Bears draft at number 9. And he did preface it as saying if he's selected at number 1. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then we'll talk about some of the reactions to the Bears' new stadium, plus dive into the mailbag. All that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Derek Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. And so we all now know we've reacted. We had an emergency episode to the Bears' comments on the new stadium, the whole proposed plan, the presentation that they did, and now we've gotten the reactions from. And the reactions from Bears fans have really been all over the place. Now, one of the things that stuck out in this was, of course, people are making like the whole the opening being weird, and it was having people like pray to the Bears and for the new stadium. That was weird. I'm not getting into that too much. I want to talk about some of the actual statistics with this, right? The Bears proposed a stadium that has the proposed stadium has a capacity of 65,000 people, which is much bigger than what Soldier Field is. But let's be clear, this is still actually a pretty small stadium according to NFL size. And also, while the Bears have talked about, hosting a Super Bowl here with that new stadium, the minimum requirement to host a Super Bowl is actually 70,000 capacity. Now, you can get exceptions from the NFL, and with how high-tech and just the look, if they're able to execute that look of the stadium, I'm sure they'll be granted one of those exceptions to host a Super Bowl, but he's just brought about more kind of questions about the whole proposed stadium idea. With that said, from the Chicago Bears, and then also you got the governor as well, who mentioned how he doesn't expect it to be a priority. It's not going to be on his list of priorities for taxes and things like that. So it's a really kind of weird how it's all kind of coming out and coming together. Like the presentation was what it was, right? I want to be clear there. It is what it is as far as the presentation. I liked it. I love the fact that they talked about even talking about the parking and the infrastructure and the fact that they still do plan on making sure they do have parking there. That was something that a lot of people asked about. But when you look at it, what it comes down to, they want to break ground by the summer of 2025. So that's just next year. That's a year from now, and open in 2028. Which okay, cool, right? When it comes down to that. They said that the parking figures will be about the same as Soldier Field. So, that's what it comes down to with parking. But there's a whole kind of thing, like I said, the capacity thing with it. The governor in that saying that, well, I'm highly skeptical. Why can't I say it? Skeptical of the proposal that has been made. I believe strongly this is not a high priority for legislators, and certainly not for me. So it's an interesting thing of kind of the reactions for coming from that. And that's from Governor Pritzker is the thing is how you pronounce it. As far as the current proposal, so will the Bears maybe have to make some alterations to their initial proposal that they pushed out there? Probably. And that's something that's not really kind of it's not something uncommon in this case. You also have the Friends of the Parks who had a statement out in regards to it. And then you have the reaction from Bears fans, right? I want to talk about this from Bears fans as far as the problems over it being publicly owned. Now, I want to be clear here. Of the 32 NFL teams, only 5 teams own their own stadiums, and that is the Commanders, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Rams and the Chargers. They co-own one, right? So when it comes down to it, it's not a whole hell of a lot of teams that own their own stadiums. This is not anything that's outside the norm around the NFL. So when it comes down to it, while Cronkite as well controls the third party that owns SoFi, so it's still a partnership, right? Is with that as well. So it's not anything outside the realm that it's going to be publicly owned. And also the fact that they are trying to do it without zero taxes to Chicagoans, I think is a big part of it being publicly owned as well. So I understand the thought process and the issues and the concerns over it being publicly owned. And make no mistake about it, it does still put the Bears in a unique situations. But, overall, I think there are other things that I'm looking at when it comes down to it. Because the capacity of it is one, like you would think that if you're going to to build a new stadium, you wouldn't really want to make sure that it has one of the largest capacities. The 65,000 capacity would actually still put it as one of the smaller stadiums in the NFL. It'll put it tied with Allegiant Stadium and Commanders Field and Ford Field as well as some of the smaller stadiums. Now, not at any stretch of the imagination the smallest. Right now, the Soldier Field is the smallest with 61,500. So you're adding 3,500 seats there. So it's still, a little 4,500 seats. No, 35. Why can't I count today? 3,500 seats there. And then that would now push State Farm Stadium in Arizona to be the smallest stadium in the NFL. So it's you're tied with, at that point, 3 other stadiums have that capacity. I just kind of thought that the Bears are going to build a new one. They'd want a huge capacity, kind of pushing it more towards 75,000 capacity there. But, when it's all said and done, it is what it is. This is the proposal. And we'll see if the Bears do make it to break ground on it. Now, another thing that the Bears fans have also stuck out with it is the Arlington Heights portion of all this. And here's what I'll say to this. If you have an issue with the Bears not moving to Arlington Heights, the one thing that the one person that you should blame on that is Arlington Heights, not the Chicago Bears. When you look at what the Bears did in trying to move to Arlington Heights, the fact of the matter is they would have had a $2 million tax bill. And after the property tax and things went up, you're looking at over $13 million. The Bears just did not have that money to spend and waste on that. So, and that's per year. So, the Bears end up coming out of this probably in a much better situation. And like I said, for anyone who's upset that the Bears aren't moving to Arlington Heights, really don't blame the Bears on that, in my opinion. Blame Arlington Heights when it comes down to it. But that's my opinion on that. Let's get back to football. The draft is today, and it's an exciting day for Bears fans. Many Bears fans have labeled it Christmas, and I completely understand that. And Caleb Williams has now made his thoughts known on who he would like to see the Bears draft at number 9, where he said this.
Say you are pick number 1. Who do you want to see the Bears take with their second top 10 pick?
If I was able to choose, and if I was picked number 1 of the Bears, I'd probably go Olu Fashanu, because I know he put his life on the line for me, protected me. And then, I'd probably go one of the top 3 wide receivers. Whoever's there at 9,
Olu Fashanu, and then he said any of the top 3 receivers. Now listen, that shows that Caleb Williams understands the importance of having an offensive line that can protect him. That is a big thing there, right? And if the Bears did go or trade down or whatever to shore up that offensive line, while it's not the sexy name, right? It's not a wide receiver or edge that's going to get a bunch of stats for you, but it could be one of the more important ones if to protect that quarterback. And so we'll see if that's the route that the Bears end up going today. But he did also mention one of the top 3 wide receivers if they fall there, which Romo Dunze, I think it is a realistic option for the Bears. I'm not saying that it's a 100% option, but I do think that's still a realistic option for the Bears to be able to draft that. So we'll see what ends up coming of that for the Chicago Bears today. I think it's going to be an exciting time to watch and to see this draft tonight. So make sure you guys stay tuned in. We will be live tonight for the NFL draft. And, the fact that Caleb was speaking out on it, and, the fact that this really does usher in a new era truly for the Chicago Bears, I think is a big thing as well. And I don't want anybody to overlook that. This is truly a new phase for the Bears. And, we'll see if it ends up paying off for the Bears, right? Because you can move into a new phase, but Caleb Williams, the way that he talks, all that thing, he's saying the right things, but it comes down to what's on the football field, and let's see if he's going to be able to bring it. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into the mailbag. We got 3 voicemails today. This one's from Calvin.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Calvin, and it's a lot of good players to pick in this draft, but in my opinion, I'm stuck on a top defensive player, specifically that 3 tech, because that's where the head coach always said he needed to make his defense work. But any top defensive player, top line, not way down the bottom of the draft, but top line is what we need. But of course, anyone with a good wide receiver will be good too. So this is Calvin. Hey, I enjoy listening to you. Take care.
Defensive focus in the draft, I think that we focus kind of defense in different ways, right? And we'll see. I'm not saying that it's outside the realm of possibility. I do think that Byron Murphy definitely is an option for the Bears there. That would be that 3 tech that Matt Eberflus has talked about since he came here, and how it's important to the heart of his defense to have pressure up the middle from that 3 tech position. So we'll see if they end up doing that. The Bears are at a unique place where they have a lot of things at their disposal to be able to improve this team. and let's hope that they make the right decisions there, Calvin. And, I have faith in Ryan Poles right now, and we'll see if that faith is warranted or not. And like I said, ultimately, there's going to be a lot of people that try to make the decision on if Poles won the draft or not tonight, and that's natural. But we won't really know until these players get on the field, and some of it we won't even know for another year or so. So let's hope that it is, and whatever route they go, I know that it's because they've done their due diligence and they've looked over every single option, and they walked away feeling that that was the best option for the team. And I, for one, can't be mad at that. All right, let's get into the next voicemail. This one's from Tonio.
Hey, it's Bobby C-Dub. Tonio calling in. So the one thing that out of everything in the offseason that I thought would have maybe happened was a trade of Khalil. And at this point, I get that having, running backs on the roster will allow the offense to flow, but I don't see Khalil lasting through the draft, let alone maybe at the most, I would say a week after the draft, and any other players have been, any other teams that might actually need running back on a cheap rookie deal. I definitely see Khalil being, the DeAndre Swift of the Lions this year when he gets traded. And then similarly enough, he probably will have a better trajectory going to another team that would need another running back to help service their backfield, but definitely see Khalil going. Now, the one thing, I don't know if we're waiting for Hard Knocks to be announced until after the draft, like if there's a specified date for when it has to be announced, but is there anything that's stopping the NFL to saying, hey, the Bears are going to be on Hard Knocks? Like, at first, I was on the line of, if we don't trade Justin, we wouldn't get Hard Knocks. But if we traded Justin and we ended up in the situation we are now, holding the first overall pick, does the quarterback matter? If it wasn't Caleb, that we would still be on Hard Knocks? Or is Caleb the Hard Knocks? Bears are on Hard Knocks because of Caleb. That's the question I definitely want to know on your insight on. But nonetheless, I'm pretty much 90% confident Hard Knocks will be in Chicago for the first time, and it'll be a really good insight just to see what's going on, especially with the team. But other than that, the only thing I really do hope we come out of this draft with is all serviceable pieces, especially that can help the team on a win now basis and continue to go forward. Outside of that, Chi-Town up, bear down. I can't wait to watch you guys for the live draft.
Khalil Herbert potentially being traded in this draft is something that could happen. And while I understand the depth at the running back position is hugely important, right? And I think that if the Bears absolutely see somebody that they want and that Khalil Herbert can get, I won't put it past Ryan Poles to do it. And, it comes down to that. And I think that with having a GM like Ryan Poles and a GM that is apt to doing whatever it takes to really improve this team, I think that he's going to have every option at his disposal and be looking at every single option, and that could include trading Khalil Herbert. I do think that that's a possibility. I'm not saying that it's likely, but I do think that it's a possibility. As far as Hard Knocks, yeah, the NFL can force the Chicago Bears to do Hard Knocks this year. They can. Could it be the determinant factor on Caleb Williams being it? It could be. Kind of everybody's looking at all eyes on the Chicago Bears. ESPN has already said that the NFL draft is built around the Bears' perspective in a lot of ways, which is crazy. So I think the NFL does and would recognize the draw that Caleb Williams and having a new quarterback to the Chicago Bears could have, the fact that they avoided it last year when they could have forced the Bears to do it. There is a complete possibility that the NFL does force the Chicago Bears to do Hard Knocks this year. And we'll end up seeing what happens. I'm not against it. I think it would signal something completely new for the Bears, a difference than what we've seen from them. And I wouldn't be mad at it. So we'll end up seeing what happens there. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Greedy.
It's Greedy again, man. I just want to let y'all know, as Chicago Bears Central and my fellow Bears fans, man, hey, man, we got a good season coming up, man. I trust the Caleb Williams. I trust the Poles, man. And for a long time, I was on Justin Fields, man, until I really did research on Caleb Williams. I really looked into the I looked at all the quarterbacks. I'm like, you know what? Let me see really what's the Caleb Williams and why do people saying, oh, we should get rid of him. Get rid of Justin Fields. And I think that he grew up next to the field. Well, he lived next door to the field every day, man. He used to play modern day and all these top prep schools and he was beating them with regular teams and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, he got to be different. He got to be a different type of quarterback. So that's what made me just open my eyes. And Justin Fields, you know, he's $25 million and he ain't taken to the playoffs. He ain't proved himself yet. He started off slow last year. So it's like, man, we got a quarterback that can, you know, he come out and be the best thing, you know, in a long time. So it just only makes sense. But trust the Poles, man. I feel like, man, keep that 9th pick, trade up, get a second rounder, man. We can really do some damage, man. You know, that's what I feel like Poles should do. I feel like you should stay solid on that 9th pick, get you something, and keep all the rest of your picks, but trade up and get you a second rounder because you can get a rookie Pearsall. You can get you a Top Robinson in the second round, man. You can get you a lot of nice players in that second round, or late second, third round. That's solid, and you can get you a whatever at 9 and get you some linemen, or get you a DT, and we can go from there and let's see what it do. We got a lot of picks next year, man. Shout out to y'all, man. What we'll do, man. I'm gonna tune in for the draft, man. I ain't been calling because I've been saving energy for this moment, man, for the draft and this week, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready to see it, man. It's been most of the time I've been in the Bears fan in a long time. I'm just ready for it all to play out. This season to play out, Caleb to come out here and ball, man, and break that curse, man. But bear down, man. Shout out to y'all at Chicago Bears Central, all my fellow Bears fans, man. Bear down, man. Be optimistic, man. Trust in Poles, man. And y'all stay safe and sucker free out here.
And I agree with you. Moving on from Justin Fields, listen, it's a decision that they made. We don't all have to agree with it, but at the end of the day, it's a decision that they made, and they made it because they felt it was the best for the franchise. And because of Ryan Poles and what he's done, I trust that. And let's see what is going to come. I'm going to give him a chance. And I've even been saying to people like, hey, he may not have the C.J. Stroud first season. He may. And if he does, best believe Bears fans are going to be hyped. But I trust in what Ryan Poles is doing here, and I trust in his vision. And I want him to get a chance to execute it the way that he sees fit. And, you know, the fact that, and I don't like to talk a lot about Justin, we moved on. He's not a Bears quarterback anymore. But the fact that even the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't guarantee or didn't pick up that 5th-year option, Justin Fields is going to be a free agent, right? And that's the decision that Ryan Poles had, and he saw opportunity, and it played a part in that, and not having to deal with that. You reset the rookie clock with Caleb Williams. You're going to give him those years to develop and see how he's going to grow. And then we'll see what's determined with that. I hope Bears fans don't try to make this knee-jerk reaction with Caleb off one bad game and things like that. But Poles sees a vision. And as the person who's running this team and has the faith of President Kevin Warren, he deserves the opportunity to see that vision through. And he's done everything he's done to put Caleb Williams in the best situation possible in his rookie year. And let's see how he comes out of it, man. I'm really excited about this draft and the future that it means for the Bears. And, yeah, we'll be here live tonight as soon as the draft starts at 8 p.m. Probably go live a couple of minutes beforehand. But make sure you guys stay tuned in with us. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button to make sure you guys are notified when we go live tonight. And we hope you guys are there to watch this next phase of the Chicago Bears start with us. Like I like to end make sure you're following us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. It's Christmas, y'all. I'll see you guys at the draft. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.